This week on Siskel and Ebert, Keanu Reeves falls for his brother's new wife, Cameron Diaz, in Feeling, Minnesota.
Also, Dustin Hoffman and Dennis Franz plan a small-time heist in David Mamet's American Buffalo.
And Halle Berry is caught in a web of deceit as the rich man's wife.
What was this thing with the kid? I mean, is it anything,
No, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's what?
You know, it's just some guy we spotted.
Yeah, some guy.
Yeah.
Some guy.
Yeah.
A junk store owner and a small-time hoodlum begin a conversation that will take the rest of the day and most of the night in David Mamet's American Buffalo, starring Dustin Hoffman as Teach and Dennis Franz as Donnie, his would-be partner in crime. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. American Buffalo is one of the best-known plays by David Mamet, who deals in the way that everyday speech sometimes reveals and sometimes conceals what his characters are really thinking. Almost always, he deals with people on the margins of respectability. And in American Buffalo, his characters hang around Donnie's junk shop, talking at first about things that are far from what's really on their minds.
What do you think a 1929 S Lincoln head penny with the wheat on the back is worth? We got to know what condition we're talking about.
Okay, what condition?
Any of them. You tell me.
Well, pick one.
Okay. I'm going to pick an easy one. Excellent condition. 1929 S.
It's worth about $36.
No.
More?
Well, guess.
It turns out they're considering stealing a coin collection, and there's talk about a man named Fletch who might be able to go along on the job.
I want some depth.
You want depth on the team.
Yes, I do.
So you bring in Fletch.
Yes.
Because I don't play games with you.
We just might need him.
We won't.
We might, Teach.
We don't need this guy, Don. We don't need him. What? You're calling him?
When Fletch doesn't show up, Teach begins to worry that Donnie may want his young helper, Bobby, to go along on the job.
I need some money.
What do you need?
I want to sell my buffalo nickel.
I'll buy it myself. How much you want for it?
$50.
You're out of your mind. Look, here's a fin. Get lost, okay?
It's worth more than that.
How the you know that?
Well, I think it is.
Okay.
That's Sean Nelson from Fresh as Bobby. I've seen American Buffalo several times on the stage, including once in London with Al Pacino playing Teach. It's a great play, but as a movie, somehow it never works. Unlike Glengarry Glen Ross, another movie of a Mamet play, this one doesn't come alive. I think maybe Dustin Hoffman is too serious about the material. Not that the material should be played for laughs, but just that there should be a rich appreciation somewhere under the surface of how absurd these characters really are, how they never see how they're playing the fool. There's just a certain amount of joy that's missing in this film.
Well, I still got involved in this. It isn't as exciting, I hate to say it, on film as it is seeing it performed right in front of you. First of all, there's a physicality. The editing, the literal editing of a film hurts, I think. Seeing them physically move around the shop and the big explosion scene doesn't play out as well. At the same time, the words and the rhythm of what they're going through and the sadness of the lives. So I give it a positive review because of Mamet.
It just, to me, it just didn't quite achieve takeoff speed.
And that's because of the director, but I still recommend the picture. Okay, next movie, and it's called Fly Away Home, and I think it's truly something special. A marvelous new family film from the director of The Black Stallion, former cinematographer Carol Ballard, who once again has created a story of a traumatized child transformed by relating to some of nature's wonders. The young Oscar winner Anna Paquin from The Piano plays a girl in New Zealand whose divorced mother dies in a car wreck as the film opens, and suddenly she finds herself in Canada with her long-absent sculptor, inventor, naturalist father, played charismatically by Jeff Daniels. At first, their relationship is strained, but they're brought together when she begins to raise some orphan geese chicks found on his farm.
You've got to feed them every 2 hours.
Uh-huh, okay.
And they need a lot of attention.
I think what they need is to learn where to poop.
Oh, come on, they're just babies.
Amy, look, I don't, they're not going to be able to stay in the house.
If you put put them outside, then owls and cats and stuff will get them and they'll die.
Okay, well, yeah. There's your bus. You gotta go.
Are you sure you can handle this?
Yes, I'm sure. Okay, go to school. Go, now.
The geese become really attracted to her. They think she's their mother.
Hey, you guys. Hey. Come on, guys. Hey, goose.
The geese must migrate, but how will they know the way?
Well, according to the books, I've been doing a lot of reading, they learn the landscape on the way down by following their parents. And then in the following spring, they come back by the same route, the same exact route, but to the same place, which for us is right out there on the front porch. Our problem is that your birds, they don't have anybody to show them the way. So they're going to take off, and they're going to get lost, or they're going to get shot by hunters, or, worse.
They're not going to follow you.
No. But they might if you help me.
Fly Away Home takes a lot of chances, and it wins most of them in a story with a lot of heart and unsurpassed visuals contributed by the cinematographer Caleb Deschanel. You've got two great cinematographers working here together, and they've made a gorgeous-looking film. Anna Paquin also proves, I think, that she's a genuine talent, not just another child actor. And Jeff Daniels is a revelation after some fallow years. The real star of Fly Away Home is the director Carol Ballard, who finds such drama in the natural world and is so confident that we'll find it if he just shows us these gorgeous pictures. I hope all children get a chance to experience the joy of Fly Away Home.
I agree with you on this one, Gene. I loved it, too.
Yeah.
I thought it was a wonderful experience. I must
Beautiful
say that,
looking.
yes, the first time I saw that little girl there going up in the ultralight aircraft,
Yeah.
I was reminded of Jessica, the young girl who, of course, with her father and her flight instructor,
Yeah.
was killed a few months ago
It never
while trying
occurred
to
to
fly across the United States. It is criminal, in a way, for any father to allow his 13-year-old daughter to fly in one of these little contraptions 500 miles from Canada all the way down to south of Baltimore. And you just have to kind of suspend that judgment and realize the movie is a fantasy. It's about this girl realizing a dream and getting to know her father, and it's about the geese and they get to go south. And all of those things work as long as you don't think too much about the practical considerations of allowing a little kid to go up in one of those.
I don't think too many people are going to try that. I do think the story is based in part on a true story of the guy, of the father's story. But I will tell you that this movie isn't about even that relationship as much as it's about just sights of geese flying next to a plane over a landscape.
Anyone who says there aren't family movies isn't paying attention. There are family movies,
This is
and
a
this is
fine
one
one.
of them. Okay, when we come back, Feeling Minnesota with Keanu Reeves as a man who steals bride Cameron Diaz away from his brother.
You're not related to him, are you?
Sam's my brother.
I don't know who's worse off, you or me.
She's a knockout, isn't she? See, you won the game, I won the girl.
Cameron Diaz is the reluctant bride there at her own wedding when she meets Keanu Reeves, her new husband's brother, in Feeling Minnesota. It's pretty clear that neither one of them much likes the brother, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, but she has to marry him because of the deal made with a local mob boss. That doesn't prevent Reeves and Diaz from falling in love at first sight and acting on it immediately.
He asked me how I knew my true love was true. Oh.
There.
The two of them run away together, but their prospects are grim.
It's like if I close my eyes, I can see us in Vegas, lying by a pool with water in it.
Meanwhile, D'Onofrio gets in trouble with his boss, played by Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, I'm in kind of a fix, you know? I was gonna see about borrowing some money, maybe.
You want more money? You think you can with my books and I won't find out?
A plot like this is totally the creation of the movies, and as a movie plot, I sort of enjoyed it. Cameron Diaz, in one role after another, shows that she has many more dimensions than the sex bomb she played in her first big role in The Mask. Here she's sexy, funny, and vulnerable, and has good chemistry with Keanu Reeves. And Vincent D'Onofrio is both menacing and kind of helpless as the brother who wants to control everything and can't even get a smile from his bride at his own weddings. Feeling Minnesota has a nice, fabricated, nitty-gritty feel to it, and I sort of liked it.
And I sort of liked it, too,
Yeah.
just at that level. And I think it works because we know that there are these kind of brother relationships out there in the world, and these are two very good actors. Vincent D'Onofrio is somebody that I followed for a long time, ever since Full Metal Jacket, where he played that big, hulking, overweight. This is a guy who can transform himself. He's a wonderful actor. He's a great utility actor. I think you'd want to plug him into every movie, almost. And he is getting a lot of work. And Cameron Diaz and Keanu Reeves are simply two very charismatic, attractive young players, and so you want to see them pursue their relationship any way it's going to play out. And you're right, she's more than a bombshell. We called it right away in The Mask. This is a big talent.
Okay, coming up next, the beautiful Halle Berry plays the rich man's wife, trapped in a bad marriage and under investigation for murder.
The truth, you're the only good thing that ever happened.
That's Halle Berry playing the title character in The Rich Man's Wife, a stupid thriller that's part rape fantasy and part idiotic mystery. Berry plays a beautiful woman trapped in a bad marriage to a philandering workaholic played by Christopher McDonald. We can't believe them as a couple, even a quarreling one.
We love to put the ways we hurt each other behind us and just wipe the slate.
You think that's possible?
So they take a vacation, but when he has to leave for work, she finds herself drawing the advantages of a creepy local guy played by Peter Green.
Leave.
It was a really big mistake, partner.
Now, Green ends up killing her husband, and he threatens to pin the killing on her, and that could stick because she's been having an affair herself.
Cole won't hurt you. That would be stupid. He's just trying to scare you. We can handle this together.
What did you say?
I said he won't hurt you. He's just trying to scare you.
No, that's not what you said. You said Cole won't hurt me.
Well, what's the difference?
I never told you his name.
Now, The Rich Man's Wife is not the least bit credible, and it introduces so many twisted characters that its conclusion, I think, is merely a coin flip by the screenwriter. Anybody could be in cahoots with anyone else in this story, and there's an overall cruelty level to the story that I found distasteful. I didn't care at all for anything in The Rich Man's Wife.
I like some of the supporting performances and some of the dialogue, but I'm basically in agreement with you, except I don't believe that anyone could have done anything in this movie, and that's my basic problem with the ending. There is a line at the ending that I spent half an hour discussing with my wife after the movie, and there is no way that you can get the facts of this movie to be consistent with the revelation at the end. I think they were trying to do a usual suspect sort of thing, but there are too many characters who appear in scenes where the wife couldn't have been a witness, even though she's allegedly the person telling this story. There are too many scenes that aren't consistent. That ending is a real cheap shot, and it doesn't hold water.
When I say it's a coin flip, what I mean is that, all right, now we've twisted the audience this way, this way, this way, and now here we're going to throw them one more.
Yeah, but,
and just whip
the
whipsaw.
last whipsaw doesn't work.
What about just the entertainment value?
Oh, well, I agree. Yeah, we're in agreement
it's
on that.
stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want to see Halle Berry run through this story at all?
Not much. When we come back, Grace of My Heart, the saga of a songwriting career that spans the 50s to the 70s. Our next movie is named Grace of My Heart, and it tells the story of a hopeful young woman who wants to be a singer and songwriter, but winds up composing for other artists. The woman is played by Ileana Douglas, and as we follow her career, we get a look at the transition from Tin Pan Alley in the 50s, when writers pitched their songs to producers, to the days of the singer-songwriter and the modern rock band. The movie opens in 1958 as Douglas enters a singing competition and wins a recording contract in New York where absolutely nothing happens to her career until she meets one agent who believes in her, and he's played by John Turturro.
I manage a male vocal group called The Stylage. You heard of it?
Yeah, sure.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Good. This song is perfect for their voices. I think we could all make some money. And I bet you have other songs, too.
No, I'm planning to record my own songs.
What do you mean? I mean, you're either a singer or a songwriter. Which is it?
She's named Edna, but the agent renames her Denise and introduces her around, and soon she's hanging around with another young composer, played by Eric
Think I
Stoltz.
could dream up a review like that? Mystical optimism.
Optimism. I will take a little of the credit, though.
The reviewer, John Murray from Songwriting Magazine. He's a friend of mine. I've been telling him about you for a while.
Oh, yeah, what'd you say on this mass audience, exploiting the pain of the working class Negro?
I told him the truth. That you're the best songwriter in this joke of a business.
They fall in love, marry, and break up. By the late 60s, she's in love with a Southern California rock musician played by Matt Dillon, whose character seems loosely inspired by Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
I got a job today.
You got a job?
Uh-huh.
Job? Really? Doing what?
Well, you see, Cheryl's friends with a producer, and I'm going to be doing the only thing I know how to do. I'm going to be writing songs.
It's not the only thing you know how to do. You're an artist.
You know, it's a strange thing about Grace of My Heart. It starts out absolutely fascinating, and Ileana Douglas wins our sympathy, and there are a lot of insights into how pop music became rock and roll. And then the movie goes on and on and on, and it seems to repeat the same two formulas. Formula 1, she has an experience and turns it into a song. Formula 2, she meets a guy and is true love, but it doesn't last. And the director is Allison Anders, who in all of her films has a good feeling for her female characters, but Grace of My Heart should have been either shorter or deeper.
Well, I liked it as much as it was, which is a sort of travelogue through American music for approximately 20 years. It's about pop music, and it's a pop film in that way. And I like the characters. I guess it's the character she's most like is Carole King, I suppose. Would it have been better if it had been deeper with her? Okay, but it isn't about that. It's a musical survey.
But didn't you feel after a while that it was just going on and on? I mean, after your patience ran out?
No, because I enjoyed the Brian Wilson character at the end, and I was captivated, and that's at the very end of the picture. I should have been tuned off by that. Here's another thing. I think another director, and I don't know whether she did this for financial reasons or creative reasons, would have simply taken real hits from those eras. And I thought that it was kind of exciting to see new and listen to new songs.
Oh, no, that I'll give you. That I'll give you, that they wrote their own songs for this movie.
That's
and that was
something
fun,
special, and they're writing them in period, and that's not an easy thing to do. So I found a sense of discovery with new material all the way through the picture.
Okay, coming up next, sort of a new age version of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. The Wife is next.
The Century Plaza, offering the finest in luxury service in Southern California style, adjacent to Beverly Hills on LA's fashionable West Side. The Century Plaza Hotel and Tower, a Westin hotel.
Our next film is a strange little four-character play called The Wife, and I think it bears comparison with the Edward Albee classic Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. It's not that good, to be sure, but it is about two couples who go bump in one long liquor-filled night, quarreling with each other and within themselves. The story takes place in the country house of a couple of New Age psychoanalysts played by the film's writer-director Tom Noonan, with the always fragile Julie Haggerty as his suffering wife. Late one night, they receive some unexpected guests, a couple that includes a patient.
What are you going to do? What?
Be quiet.
What?
Will you shut up?
No! 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 No!
What's going on?
No, nothing. Nothing. I mean, we were just out shopping, and you know, I always talk about you two so much, so I wanted to show Arlie the house. Then the car stalled.
Hi, I'm Wifey.
That's Wallace Shawn as the meek client who has a sex pot wife played by Karen Young. Each character gets a big scene of revelation as the evening, like Virginia Woolf, turns into a game of Get the Guests.
Now, Jack, I think that might be a little unfair.
What do you mean unfair?
They all seem the
Wait a
same to
minute.
me.
I want to know what he's talking about.
Well, I just think that some people feel that, you know, the chakras are not so sharply
You're
defined.
telling me about chakras. It's okay, cousin.
Unlike Virginia Woolf, however, I wasn't drawn to any one of these characters. The host shrink is truly repellent. Julie Haggerty is too much of a whiner. Wallace Shawn seems a lot smarter than the man he plays. And the sex pot wife is a stock movie character. 3 years ago, I raved about Tom Noonan's film debut as a director, What Happened Was, about a tortured first date. I don't think this drama about marriage is as thoughtfully written. Thumbs down for me on The Wife.
I'm giving this one thumbs up, and I'll tell you why. One of the things that fascinated me was the dynamic that was going around as the camera tracks around the table. Incidentally, this film is well photographed. And as one talks and the other listens and they look around and go around, I found that the fascinating mystery is, what does the Tom Noonan character think? You see, the others reveal themselves.
Right, he doesn't.
And he seems to be more like the puppet master.
I said this is really Virginia Woolf light. You agree with that, at least. You don't think it's anywhere comparison to that?
It's not as good as Virginia Woolf, but on the other hand, it's not as good as Macbeth either, Gene. I mean,
what I'm saying is, it's of a genre, and I don't think it's successful. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. We split on American Buffalo, the screen version of David Mamet's play. I thought the performances by Dustin Hoffman, Dennis Franz, and Sean Nelson were superb, but Roger felt the movie just didn't work. 2 thumbs up, way up for Carol Ballard's Fly Away Home, a dazzling story of a child growing up in nature. 2 thumbs up for Feeling Minnesota. 2 thumbs down for the stupid thriller The Rich Man's Wife with Halle Berry and a brainless plot. We split on the songwriting epic Grace of My Heart, directed by Allison Anders. I thought the cast headed by Ileana Douglas was fine, and I liked the whole survey of American music over 20 years. But Roger felt the film could have dug deeper into its characters. And finally, a split vote on Tom Noonan's The Wife. I found it to be a pale imitation of Virginia Woolf. Roger thinks it's better than that.
Okay, that's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with the reviews of more new movies, including Last Man Standing, starring Bruce Willis as a gun for hire in Prohibition, Texas, and also The First Wives Club with Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, and Diane Keaton seeking revenge on the husbands who dumped them. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Quality Check dairies have higher than industry standards. Our mark is your guarantee. Reach for the top. Quality checked. Higher standards, fresh taste.
I'm mad at Nitol. People who worried about sleep aids used to count me. Now they feel safe with Nitol to help them sleep. Nitol will help you get your Z's.
Dentine Gum. In less than 60 seconds, Dentine's tingly taste will make your breath feel fresh and clean. Brush your breath with Dentine.
Uh-oh, the Hungries are home, and you're not. Good thing you showed them the way to White Castle. White Castle, that legendary taste in just 60 seconds.